Hi everyone, I'm Heather Crosby, founder of YumUniverse, your home for an inspired plant-based and gluten-free diet. And today I'm here with one of my dearest friends, Kathy Beymer. She's a master crafter and founder of MerrimentDesign.com. And today we're going to make a really cute Valentine's gift idea that she called me up and told me about a couple days ago. It's a tea and cookies combo where you sew a little tea bag and you make some naturally dyed shortbread cookies with beet juice, and you have an adorable little gift for everyone for Valentine's Day. Actually, Kathy, tell us a little bit about what the tea bag is made of.
Yeah, so the tea bag's really easy to put together. I had these unbleached tea bags that normally you just put the tea right inside this little flap here. But what I did instead was I cut out a heart and sewed it, and I will show you how to do it. And I'll show you how to do it. You can do it in a heart shape or other shapes for other holidays. Attach it to Heather's yummy cookies. She didn't mention how delicious they are. And then you've got a tea and cookie combination for your sweetheart.
Yeah, adorable. So let's get started and show everyone how easy it is to make these. These cookies only have a handful of ingredients, and it's really easy to make the tea bags. It's a really special gift, easy to make. Let's get started. What you're going to do when making these shortbread cookies is get your dry ingredients put together, and then you're going to do your wet ingredients. And you're going to get in there with your hands and beet juice, and then I'm going to show you my favorite tip for rolling out gluten-free baked goods. Unbleached parchment paper is going to be your new best friend. So we'll get there in a minute. Kathy's going to go ahead and start putting in some of our dry ingredients. We've got a 1/4 cup of brown rice flour.
Brown rice flour.
That's the brown rice flour. And we're going to sift everything together. It just makes the texture of the cookie that much better. Okay. So we've got oat flour, 1/4 cup of that. And we've got sucanat, which is a natural sugar that is minimally processed. And you know me, I love to try to get nutrients in as much as possible. So sucanat has pretty much as much nutrients as molasses. But it is a larger grain, so some of it's not going to get through the sifter, and that's okay. An extra step you can take for texture purposes is you can run your sucanat through a coffee grinder, if you have one, to make it extra powdery like you would with powdered sugar if we were making more of a conventional shortbread cookie. So go ahead and add, we've got some baking soda, baking powder, a little bit of fine ground sea salt, and some arrowroot, which also helps with texture and binding. Is that all the dry goodness?
Okay. In there.
All right.
Now sift away.
Sift away.
Sift away.
That's a good sifter. I need to get one of those.
Really good.
It does. Sucanat's got a real brown sugary kind of smell to it.
Yeah, it's really mixing it in there too.
Yeah. But you'll see when you get to the end, some of it doesn't go through. And you can press it with your hands. Whatever's left, just dump it over and dump it in there.
Okay.
We're just trying to get some air in there for texture.
Towards the end here. Yeah, I see there's a couple little pieces that look like they're not going to go through. So what do you do with this now?
You can take your hands and try to push through all of the rest of the flour. Yep, and most of it will go through. Yeah. That's got some big holes in it, so otherwise you just dump it all in there. And then we're going to take some fats. We've got 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, and you want to use unrefined virgin coconut oil. So we've got that and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we're just going to mix that together, cream it together, and then we're going to add it to our dry ingredients. Now at this point, this is when a silicone kitchen spatula is really helpful because it's bendy and it helps you get all of the goodness out of there, and it's going to help you mix stuff together that much better.
Okay. Yeah, this is much better.
Yeah. I have like 5 of these in my kitchen.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the part where you get dirty. You got to get in there with your hands. So Kathy's psyched. She's going to get in there and start working together our fats and our dry ingredients. So go for it.
All right. Oh yeah, this feels really funny.
You ready for the beet juice, or you want me to do the beet juice? Are you afraid of the beet juice?
I'm a little afraid of beet juice.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna get in there and do the dirty part with the beet juice, which is gorgeous. It's like ruby red, and the way you can get beet juice, yeah, go to your local juicer or health food market, see if they'll juice a beet for you, or if you have a juicer, just put a couple pieces of beet in there and you get this gorgeous beet juice. Yeah,
really pretty.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Adding the beet juice.
That's nice.
It's got a little bit of sweetness to it too, so it adds a really nice flavor to the cookies. Okay, so we worked our dough into a nice beet red ball. Now we're ready to roll it out and get the cookie cutters going. So you're going to want to make parchment your best friend. When you're not working with gluten or binders like eggs, parchment surface, and you'll see in a second, really helps you roll out pie crusts and cookies like this with ease. So, got some kitchen scissors here. I'm going to roll out a piece probably the length of the cookie sheet or baking sheet that you're using, because I like to try to not waste this stuff. So we're going to roll it out using this parchment, and then we're going to put it right on the cookie sheet and goes right in the oven. So, second piece. Okay. And what you do is you just take your dough and put it between the parchment. So we're not rolling with our rolling pin directly onto the dough. We're using the parchment. This way we're also not dirtying a rolling pin, which is a little bit easier on cleanup.
With the red beet juice?
Yes. And just the stickiness of the dough.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to take a peek and see if it's the right thickness, and it is, but see that? How easily that just peels up and you've got your nice smooth surface.
So how thin do you roll this dough for the cookies?
It's about 1/8 of an inch, more to 1/4 of an inch. You don't want it too thin because it'll burn in the oven, but you want just enough thinness and thickness where it's a nice little shortbread cookie. Okay. So we've got some fun cookie cutters for Valentine's Day. We've got all different sizes, from big to...
I love this little tiny one.
Yeah, it's adorable. So have some fun with this. There are lots of different ways that you can make your cookies. You can actually use the large ring and a smaller one to make your hole, or you can use more of a size, kind of medium size, and then use actually like a bamboo skewer to create the hole for you, for your tea bag. So have some fun with it.
Yeah, definitely remember to put the hole in before the cookie gets baked.
Very important. So if you are using your little heart cookie cutter here or your bamboo skewer, definitely press your cookie and then make your hole. You definitely want to make the hole before you bake. We've pressed all our little dough here, and one of the benefits of this recipe is you can eat the dough raw. Pretty good?
It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as a bad baker, I know I use the eggs, I know I use the butter. It tastes really good.
First you want an offset spatula, because that's going to help you get underneath of the dough. But if it's starting to stick too much and you're not able to lift your cookies out, use the freezer. Okay? So right now it's 0 degrees in Chicago, so it's cold enough in here that the coconut oil is binding and it's not too loose. So I'm able to easily lift out my cookie dough, but this isn't always the case. So one of my favorite tricks, actually we'll put that guy there,
okay,
and we'll save this dough over here for a minute, is I take the dough and I'll slide it onto a plate and put it in the freezer for about 2 minutes, and then you take it out of the freezer. Your offset spatula lifts everything up really easy. You set it directly on the cookie sheet and you're ready to bake. So we're reusing our parchment here that we rolled out our dough with, lining our cookie sheet, and we're just going to transfer the cookies right on there. You're going to bake them for 8 minutes, no more than 8 minutes, because they will burn. So set a timer. What's fun is these little guys, kind of adorable little guys.
A hole in that little one.
now that our adorable little cookies are done, Kathy's going to show us how to make the heart-shaped tea bags. You ready?
Ready.
All right, let's do this.
Hi, I've got my helper with me today. We're going to show you how to make the heart tea bag side of the Valentine's Day cookie tea bag treat. So what you need are just a couple supplies. The tea bags, of course. You can also use coffee filters, but these are pre-made and they're doubled up already, so they'll save you a little bit of time. You've got embroidery floss. You can use string or embroidery floss. I like the pink. Cookie cutters. You can also just trace a freehand heart shape, but I like the cookie cutter. And then you need a little bit of loose tea, some scissors, and a white pencil. Take a tea bag and place it on a flat surface, and then a cookie cutter, or you can freehand the shape as well. And you're going to want to put it so it's in between the two areas and trace it with a white pencil on the inside. Just like that. So you've got a little heart there now, and that's going to be your guide for sewing. Now, to get ready to sew, just simply cut off the top here, because you're going to cut it close to the top, because what you're going to do is you're going to be slipping in your piece of embroidery floss while you sew. So if you cut that top off, you can leave the rest together, and then we're going to be sewing along the white line that you just made. Then you're going to cut a piece of your embroidery thread or string, and I cut roughly about, let's see how long it is. It's about 12 to 14 inches total, and then when you fold it in half, it's going to be about 7 inches long. Fold it in half so the edges are together, and then you're just going to lift up your tea bag and put it in between the two layers of the heart. Okay, so now we're ready to sew the tea bag, the heart tea bag, and I have a little helper with me today. My daughter Elise, can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so you have your thread in between the two layers, and all you need to do is sew. You put your needle down near that point, and I have a double stitch on, so that means it's going a couple stitches forward and one back. And you can use any stitch you want, so you can use a zigzag or whatever you think looks pretty. So this is the hardest part, is the turning of the curves. So I just kind of lift my presser foot up and move it a little bit. So we're coming up to the thread that's going to hold your tea bag together. And because I'm doing a double stitch here, it's automatically going to just hold this really secure. If you don't have a double stitch, this is a place where you might want to just do a little back stitch just to make sure it's really in there. Now you're coming up to where you're going to be stopping soon. You're going to want to leave just a little bit of opening there, and you're going to put the tea in. So I'm going to go just a little bit farther and then stop. Yeah, I leave about an inch open. And I'm doing a double stitch, so I don't have to back stitch. So I just kind of stop there, and there you go. So now you're ready to fill the tea bag with tea. I used the pre-made tea bags, which have seams on both sides, so if you do that, you can just slice it off, and you'll have a little bit of opening there where you can fill the tea bag in, and then we're going to sew it shut. So I've got my opening here, and I'm just going to spoon in some of the loose tea, and I put a plate underneath because I'm a little messy, which is okay. And you're going to jiggle it down like that, and just put the amount of tea that you want to fill in the tea bag. You're not going to want to fill these super full, because you need to have some room to sew it back shut. So about a tablespoon, I would say. And don't worry, all this tea, we're going to use this, so you can be as messy as you need to be to get it full. Kind of like that. Jiggle all the tea to as much of one side as you can, and then I put a zipper foot on here because I'm a total nerd, so if you have a zipper foot, throw it on. If not, then you'll be fine. And all you're going to do is just sew the opening shut. Going to trim it up real close, and as you can see, I had a pretty big heart, so you can probably get a couple steeps out of this tea bag. And you're just going to trim close to the stitching. I like to trim at the end step because then it's a little bit easier to sew. And when you get around this edge, don't cut through your embroidery thread. Just peel it up like that and cut around it on both sides, and then you're in business. And that's it. There's your tea bag. And now we just have to attach a cookie on this side. So when we sewed the tea bag and folded the embroidery floss in half, we put the open ends inside the tea bag, and then folded edge is on the end, and the folded edge is what you're going to thread through the cookie. Just slip the loop through like this, and then take the tea bag and then put it through the loop, and then just carefully pull it like that, and it's attached. You can buy a cute teacup, and then we're going to put a set of these cookies and tea bags together inside and package them in the teacup. And we do this with parchment paper. Put a little parchment paper down, and you're going to wrap the cookie over like this, and then the tea bag. And we're doing this to keep the flavors a little bit separate, and also to keep the fat from the cookies, the fats in the cookies from getting on the tea bag. And then you can wrap them up, package them over, and put a whole set in here and put them in a little gift bag. And there you go.
Happy Valentine's Day!
Spatula, silicone. Use your fingers.
Sorry.
How loud was that?
That was loud.
Will you go